Good morning, everyone. How's it going? Hope you're having a great start to your week. Today is whatever day it is, Monday. I want to have a conversation with you today about how to get past feeling like an imposter. This is a common feeling that a lot of people feel in different spaces. I was just on a call on Clubhouse, a new social platform that we're experimenting with last week, and one of the guys, so I was one of the panelists, and one of the guys who came up to ask a question was like, I'm really good at what I do, but how do I get past feeling like an imposter? And I think it's a pretty common fear that I've come across and I've experienced myself in the health space. So I want to share something with you guys that I think hopefully will make a bit more sense of this. And if you're on Instagram, you can't see this. If you're inside of our Healthpreneur Hub, then you can. So join us inside of our Facebook group, healthpreneurgroup.com/hub, so you can see this stuff and the kind of visuals I ever show in the future. So what you can see here is a little doodle that I drew. You gotta love the drawings, right? And there's three, I call this the evolution of a health entrepreneur. And on the y-axis, you have conviction. On the x-axis, you have time. Now, as you can see, the first phase in this process is called imposter syndrome. And the thinking is, who am I to help others? And I remember when I started Healthpreneur back in 2015, I was transitioning out of my previous business, which was health, fitness, wellness to the consumer. And here I was transitioning from that into teaching business and marketing. And I had a really big battle internally with that because for, a very long time, at least 15 years, I had identified myself as like a health and fitness expert. And here I was about to transition into a new endeavor, like a new thing, right? And so I had an issue. Like I had a challenging time really coming to terms with them. Like, what are people going to think of me? Am I good enough? What if I don't help people in the way I think I can? Can I really help people? What are people going to think of me? Like, oh, now he's teaching business, whatever. And so I spent like a good year. Like, seriously, this is ridiculous. I spent about a year delaying the launch of Healthpreneur, if you want, because of this fear. And this holds a lot of people back. It holds a lot of people back. And as I mentioned many, many, many times before, and I'll mention it again, the number one thing that's going to hold you back in life, the one most important thing that's going to hold you back in life beyond anything else is the fear of being disliked. If you are worried about what other people think of you, you will never, ever, ever accomplish big things. Because big things require you to do things that other people are not going to understand, they may not agree with, and they're going to question you, right? And the thing is, the more bold you are, the bigger the dream you have, the more opinionated you are, for instance, you're going to ruffle some feathers, right? But again, like if people are not complaining about you, they don't know about you, right? So obscurity is going to kill your business. So I'll save that for another day, but I'm getting blinded by the sun here. I'm going to just lower my blinds a little bit. See if that's any better. But the idea here, guys, is you have to go from like everyone, not everyone, but a lot of people go from that initial starting phase of like, who am I to help people, into the next stage, which is self-belief, which is like, yes, I can do this. And then you get to the epitome, which is what I call delusional optimism, where you feel you're the best. Now, I'm not saying you should be blindly overconfident and never thinking you can get better and grow and that you are better than everyone else on the planet. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is internally, you know with every fiber of your being that what you do, what you do, you are the best at doing that. And I'm not saying you are the best because you've compared yourself to other people who do what you do. You're the best because you don't even care who else is out there, because you know that what you know and what you've done for your clients is transformational. Like, I firmly believe that I'm the best at helping health entrepreneurs build a successful, when I say successful, I mean a very financially lucrative business that creates the lifestyle that they want and the legacy that they want to leave. I believe I'm the best at doing that, especially when it comes to building a virtual practice. Now, you might say, okay, Yuri, well, that's very narcissistic or egotistical or overconfidence. Hey, listen, if that's the alternative compared to not doing anything because you don't believe in yourself, I'll take that any day of the week, right? But listen, I know a lot of people in this space. Some of my best friends in this space are technically competitors, but I don't care what they're doing. And they're great at what they do as well. But I have the core belief that I'm the best at what I do, right? Not because I'm comparing myself to other people. It's just that I have the confidence that, I'm really good at what I do. And you need to have that confidence as well. But it takes time, I think. It takes time and it takes experience. The more people you help, the more experience you gather, and the more reference points to remind you that, hey, you know what? Like, I am pretty good. My stuff is pretty awesome. So let's go back to the imposter syndrome for a second. Number one, if you feel like you have imposter syndrome, then maybe you're just not good enough yet, right? Let's just be honest. Now, I'm not saying you as an individual are not good enough as a human being. I'm saying maybe you're just not good enough to help people in whatever capacity you want to help them in. That could be true, right? Now, when I was starting Healthpreneur, the difference was I was very good because I had 11, 12 years of having built a very successful business. Now, contrast that to the explosion of business coaches that we've had in the past couple of years, of people who've built a business that is barely getting by, and all of a sudden they're teaching other people how to build a business. I understand if you have imposter syndrome in those situations, because you don't even know if what you're teaching is working because you haven't worked it yourself. That I understand. You should have imposter syndrome there because, quite honestly, you're not good enough yet to teach other people how to do what it is you think you want to do, but you haven't really done. So number one is sometimes you might not just be good enough yet. And that means you got to sharpen the sword, right? And I'm not saying go back to school and get certifications. That's no. Unless you're really unqualified, in which case maybe you should, okay? But for the most part, if you are someone who has been doing this for a long time, if you've had a practice, brick and mortar, virtual, doesn't matter, and you've helped dozens, hundreds, thousands of clients, then imposter syndrome should be nothing other than a figment of your imagination, because you have hundreds or thousands of reference points of people's lives who you've transformed. And now you just have to get out of your own way. So again, imposter syndrome, totally okay if you're brand new. You have no experience, you have no business helping other people because you don't know how to help them. Totally understand, right? Now, you're gonna have to go through a little bit of trial and error to figure out what your thing is, right? Maybe you are subject number one. Maybe a family member is subject number one. And then you get a little bit of momentum because you're like, hey, you know what? That person got helped by this thing that I did. I wasn't even sure if it was going to work. And now you kind of, notch up the confidence a little bit. And then maybe you try it out with someone else and someone else. Like in no way, shape, or form, like you guys know I'm all about premium pricing, but it's not ethical to charge premium prices if you're not good at what you do. So if you just got certified last weekend and you're going to charge $3,000 tomorrow for a client to work with you, even though you don't have the experience or confidence to even help them, I don't think that's ethical. Now, if you got certified or you went through school years ago or a year ago, and then you got a good amount of traction and experience and you showed results from what you're doing, yeah, totally, you should be charging premium prices now, okay? So the imposter syndrome is interesting because there's two scenarios. Number one is you're just not qualified, right, yet, okay? We'll put that aside for a second. Second option or second case is like you actually are way too qualified, but you don't even see that. Right? You think you have to be like on top of the mountain where all you have to do is be like one step ahead of the people you're helping. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. You're never going to be perfect. You're never going to have enough certifications, like the letters behind your name. It's never going to be enough, right? You have to understand that you are enough, right? And you're always going to be a couple steps ahead of the people you're helping. When most people in the health space get started, they get started because they themselves went through their own transformation, like I did. And that becomes N number one, right? You're your case study. And you're like, hey, this worked for me. I bet it could work for you too. And then you do that over and over and over again, and now you start to develop confidence. So by the point where you have a bit of traction behind you, the imposter syndrome piece, you have to get out of your own way. You have to stop worrying about what other people are going to think of you, and you have to believe in yourself that you may not know everything yet. You may not know everything yet, but you know enough to help someone else. You may know a lot more to help someone else. You have to understand that your first language of I understand health is most people's 8th language. Even if you just recommended someone to drink 4 liters of water a day, that could be life-changing for them. And if you hold them accountable to that, that might be all they need to see the transformation that they want. So just understand that you're good enough if you've been doing this for any length of time where you have traction and experience and reference points and proof of what you do. And in that case, we got to get out of our own heads. We have to get out of our own way. And one of the easiest ways to do this is stop thinking about yourself. The more you think about yourself, the more selfish that is. Every single day you delay, because you're worried about, I don't know if I can do this. What are people going to think of me? Who am I to do this? That's all nonsense. It's all selfish, gibberish nonsense. I don't have any regrets in my life, but I mean, I wish I would have been acted a little bit sooner to really make the transition from health and fitness to business with respect to moving from that other company into Healthpreneur. Again, it took me a year, and I'm sharing this with you because I went through this battle, and it was ridiculous. And all I was focused on is, what are they going to think of me? That was the predominant thought pattern, and it didn't serve me. And I don't even know how many people missed out on being helped by my services and expertise because I delayed for a year. So if you're in that situation, take the focus away from you, put it on the people you want to serve who are looking to you for help, and hopefully that gives you a bit of a kick in the butt to move forward, okay? But listen, the only way to get to it is to go through it. So to get through imposter syndrome, to get past it, you have to do the thing you're afraid of doing. You have to enroll clients. You have to work with clients. Is every single client going to be an amazing victory? Probably not, right? You're going to learn a lot along the way, but the key is that you actually try. And that, my friend, is what I can suggest to you in terms of getting through imposter syndrome, if that's something that is maybe occupying a little bit too much of your thinking space. So hopefully that's helpful. If it is, give me a thumbs up, give me a yo, what's up in the comments. And remember to join us inside the Healthpreneur Hub if you're not already in there. healthpreneurgroup.com/hub is where I post all these live videos and a bunch of other trainings and a great community of other health entrepreneurs doing great stuff. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you have a great start to your Monday. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Ciao.